You're listening to the ModernDogTrainer.net podcast, bringing you the best industry tips and topics for professional dog trainers worldwide.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Modern Dog Trainer podcast. And also today we're recording in video as well. I'm Ines McNeil, the founder of the Modern Dog Trainer blog and podcast. And today I'm chatting with Kat Camplin, my co-host, and our guests, Laura and Courtney.
Before we get too much further, don't forget to add the podcast to your favorite RSS feed or iTunes podcasts. You can also follow us on Twitter at Modern Trainer and on Facebook. All the links are in the show notes at themoderndogtrainer.net. So put your feet up, grab something to drink, and let's get started.
Awesome. So welcome, Laura and Courtney. Laura, let's start with you. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Would you like to know more professional or personal things?
Whatever you want to share.
Maybe. Well,
the TMI area, but yeah.
Well, I have been training for a few years, not as long as some people have. I had a whole other career before I was a dog trainer, and I kind of got involved in dog training because I wanted to do volunteer work, and I started volunteering at a shelter here in the Denver area. And I just fell in love with being around the dogs, and there was a training program at the time that I was participating in, and I just really wanted to learn more, and I kind of stumbled into dog training that way. I started my own company doing more pet sitting first, and then as I started to grow and get more experience, I finally made a switch to just doing training full time. Although I do stay with clients' dogs now, especially the ones that are more special for pet sitting at times. But yeah, I really love this field. I think it's a very I don't know, there's just a lot of powerful women in this field that that's part of the reason why I really enjoy it. People like, Kat's such a badass. I'm always calling her a badass. Especially, we're going to Clicker Expo and having her be around and help me with the horrible job I do with shaping at times was really great.
Yep.
So I didn't know a lot about clicker training when I first started. I had a mentor who was more balanced and a little bit more into dominance training. And I had a foster dog through the shelter that really forced me to find other things, and that's when I found Control Unleashed, and that changed my life. So when I became friends with Leslie McDivitt on Facebook, I told her she made me who I am today, and I'm totally in love with her and thank her and everything. So I'm really grateful that I stumbled into that and that I'm still learning and growing in that regard.
Awesome. Happy to have you.
Thanks.
Awesome. So now, Courtney, I don't know a whole lot more about you. I've known, I think, Laura a long time on Facebook, but tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am an Arizona native, and I went to the University of Arizona and got a degree in elementary education. So very different. But I will say, teaching elementary students when you have 90 little kids staring at you, they're super honest and they don't hold back. And so I do feel like they prepared me very well for speaking in front of an audience and how to teach people to do things, especially when you're teaching small children who are pretty much a blank slate. You're teaching them like every little bitty step. So right. I think it's really prepared me for dog training.
Yeah, I could see that.
Those are good times. But I had moved from Tucson and decided to get a job at PetSmart as a trainer. And then I worked my way up to the area trainer there. And I loved it. It was a great experience. I got to experience a lot of different breeds and a lot of different dogs and different people and handlers. But I just felt like something was missing from that program. So I pursued Tellington T-Touch, and it's something I had heard about as a kid. And, then Google came about, and I was like, I wonder if that thing still exists. And it does.
Wow.
Who knew? Yeah, it's kind of wild. It's been around for 40 years. So I pursued that, and it's a type of body work and movement exercises to help dogs mentally, behaviorally, emotionally. And I just felt like it was kind of that missing link for dog training.
Mm-hmm.
And then I moved to Denver about 4 years ago and kind of just went all in. I started Tender Hands Animal Training, and that's what I do. I'm just a Tellington T-Touch practitioner.
Oh, awesome.
Thanks.
So, Laura, how did you meet Courtney?
Well, our friendiversary is coming up. I actually have an anniversary with Courtney.
Aw.
Yes.
Yeah, I was thinking about that this morning. But yeah, we both were members. Courtney still is a member. I'm not, of the Colorado Dog Trainers Network. And I went to a meeting of theirs, and she was there. And I had always been intrigued by T-Touch. I didn't know anything really about it.
Right.
But then she lived like literally down the street from me.
Oh, nice.
I mean, just right in the same neighborhood. So we were like, hey, we live in the same area. And I was like, I'm really interested in T-Touch. And we just started hanging out. And then she started to come to some of my sessions with me because, you know, sometimes it's nice to have another handler to handle another dog or whatever.
For sure.
So she started doing that. And then we were like, we would really rather just do this together.
Aw.
And we started doing it together. So
Oh, nice.
How long has it been now?
it'll be 3 years in November that we've met each other.
Wow.
Wow.
It's
And then
my favorite anniversary.
We're like
Oh, my goodness.
we have husbands too. But,
Oh, cool. When did you...
How long
Sorry.
between the time that you guys met and became friends and the time you started, was it really quick when you started?
Yeah, I was wondering that too.
pretty much, because by that, yeah, I mean, I remember you being out in the cold with your
Yes.
with Greta May, you know, but yeah,
Walking
by
in
the
front of houses.
I think we officially started marketing ourselves and billing it as both of us the following year. So it was just a few months.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, what made you decide, you know, this is somebody worth essentially going into business together? I mean, that's pretty much a pretty big jump, pretty big commitment.
It is. And I struggled a lot with having other people around me. I don't think this would have worked if I'd been younger.
I think, you know, I think a lot of dog trainers are like that too. So.
I'm a little more mature now. But I did, like I said, my business at first was mainly pet sitting and dog walking, and it grew very quickly. And I had 2 to 3 people working in that business with me, and it was just a lot to handle, to coordinate. And I was like, I just don't want to be this responsible. It's really hard to find good help. You know, the dogs that I was handing off to people, I had real attachments to, and it's just hard to trust other people sometimes. So I'm not saying that the people who worked with me weren't worthy of trust, but it was difficult. And I think anyone who owns a company, when you have to hire people, or, you know, you really do, it makes you paranoid, because it's like, it's my brand, it's my company. And
Absolutely.
you just get super paranoid. I got way too paranoid. But I don't know. Courtney is just, I don't know. There's something, we just are very compatible. We're very different on a lot of levels, but we're also very compatible. And it just works out well. And we don't, you know, we're really more concerned with the clients and making them successful and being happy, rather than having any ego. I'm not saying that never happens, but, you know, it just worked out well, and we have a really good time together. We really try to make it fun, and we laugh a lot.
Nice.
We have to, or we'd lose our minds. But yeah, I've never felt like Courtney didn't have my back. So.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And
That's really cool.
I trust Laura with my life.
Aw.
Holy cow.
It's true. I mean, we work with some really interesting dogs, and I wouldn't trust somebody else handling those dogs as much as I trust Laura.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
So how do you guys sell the team concept of working with your dog? Like, sometimes just being a positive trainer is a hard sell for the yank and crank crowd. So now you're coming in and going, hey, but there's 2 of us. Hi, Russ. How does that work?
I could probably always do a better job at marketing. I'm not the best at doing everything that I need and should do. But I do kind of tout it as you're getting 2 trainers for the price of 1, because I do know some trainers who charge as much as we do, and they're still trainers.
Right.
Honestly, and that's no diss to them. Some of them have been training way longer than we have. But I do think that when I explain to people why we work together and how it works, that helps them see why. I think that there's a huge I don't think there are enough people out there who really understand the concept of the emotional state of the dog and the physical state, right? Most people are always so concerned with, I want my dog to sit and be calm when, this trigger is going by. And I have to explain to them, like, you have to really address how they're feeling before you can get to that part where they're going to be able to do something you want. And I always bill it as, we are very thorough with making sure the dog feels well mentally, physically, emotionally. And I think T-Touch can really complement the training, because it does add another dimension to that. How are you feeling in your body that other trainers don't have? And there aren't a lot of T-Touch practitioners here. So I feel very lucky. And I'm very greedy on one level. I mean, I've let Courtney. Courtney still has her own entity and still does what she's welcome to do. It's not like I own her or anything. Not that I wouldn't want to, but I feel very lucky. I mean, there's not a lot of people who can have that, and I think as much as I've grown in observing dogs and knowing things, I feel like Courtney just has a special talent for really seeing things that I don't. So I tell people, if you really are committed to having long-lasting results with your dog and you want to put in that work, we can really help make sure all those points are addressed. So
do you guys work on every case together? You each kind of bring your own skill set to every case, or do you split the work up?
If we're doing behavior modification, we're always together.
Okay, nice.
If it's like puppy or obedience or just problem solving, Laura takes those all on her own. And then if it turns out, that problem solving case is actually maybe a little more behavior modification.
Yeah.
Then Laura's even just pulled me in for a couple sessions. And then we kind of maybe work a few kinks out, and then Laura will finish on her own. But
nice.
All behavior modification it's nice to have a partner helping with that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So just to clarify, so as a T-Touch practitioner, that is putting hands on body, right?
Correct.
And you guys specialize in aggression. So I just want to know how you go in and start touching dogs, and what does that really look like? Like, what's the process to be able to get to the dog, to be able to get them to bodily handle them?
Sometimes I have, as Laura knows, I have an entire pack of fake stuffed dogs.
Okay.
Of all different shapes and sizes that go with me everywhere. So sometimes when if we're working on a human reactive dog and the sight of this dog isn't an issue, I'll bring that stuffed dog in immediately, and I'll just be like, here, you're going to mirror what I'm doing. This is what we're going to do.
Interesting.
Yeah. If it's a dog who is dog reactive, we'll sometimes address that first, and I'll bring in a stuffed dog that's like very clearly, obviously not a real dog, like more your kid's wiggly stuffed dog.
Yeah, like a teddy bear or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I've even borrowed stuffed animals from people. Like, do you have a bear we could use? And I've used that. And we also do a lot of work on muzzle training, and that helps for that safety standpoint. But there's also aspects of T-Touch that include body wraps, and I can coach an owner to put a body wrap on a dog, and that way there's no hands on the dog at all.
Nice.
And then Laura is great with these reactive dogs, especially the herders. Laura is really, really good at bonding with them. So sometimes Laura will work with them to the point where they just trust Laura, and I can coach Laura on what to do, and Laura will handle them more, and kind of incorporate some of that T-touch, or Laura will put wraps on the dog or things like that. So that's helpful too.
Awesome.
Nice. So, Laura, what do you appreciate about Courtney? Like, what is it that, if you were to sell Courtney to people, and obviously you do, what's sort of the fit? What's the best, sell Courtney to me?
Oh my God. Okay. No pressure.
Wow.
No pressure.
Well, Courtney is very skilled in seeing things that most people do not see. Like, she will notice very tiny details about the dog that and especially the owners will not see. So I always tell people, like, she is just a very observant person when it comes to noticing things physically about the dog. Even if they seem very slight, it can make a huge difference, So I think part of it is just, she has a talent for doing that. And I have brought up the fact that she has this elementary education degree to people, because I feel like, especially when we have families, we do get families more than some trainers do. I feel like sometimes the things that that trainers don't like, they just send us, but
that happens.
That emotional wreck with this family. Go ahead. But I do think that's a selling point, because she does way better with children and families than I do. And she is a certified T-touch practitioner, and that is important. I think the general public doesn't know a lot, right, about certifications and things like that. But I always like to, whenever people do talk to me or approach me, I like to remind them, like, it isn't a regulated industry. And, we are trying our best. I don't have the world's best certifications either, but, the ones that I have, or at least my CPDTKA, I at least have to have some continuing education.
Right.
And I like to point out to people, like, we are always trying to improve our level of knowledge and our skill set. And we do provide a lot of value-added services. We provide in-between session support at no additional cost. We videotape a lot of what we do.
Nice.
So there's a lot of advantages to what we do as a team in that way too. And I think we do a really great job of keeping in contact with people compared to some.
Yeah, for sure.
But,
awesome. So, Courtney, how would you essentially sell Laura? I mean, as a business partner, as a trainer partner, what are the characteristics that you admire?
Laura's work ethic is you don't see that kind of work ethic much these days.
Yeah.
She's extremely dedicated to being a dog trainer. She's dedicated to her continuing education. She's dedicated to knowledge and learning more, but she's also extremely dedicated to our clients and their dogs. More so than I think most people. Like, this is not just a job for Laura. This is something that she's extremely passionate about and truly cares about their well-being. Whether it's the owner struggling or the dog struggling, Laura's, it's always in the back of her mind, I think.
Nice.
We'll see a client and we might finish with them, and 6 months later, Laura's still like, oh, I hope they're doing okay. And I'm still thinking about them. And so I think that's really important in anybody, especially your dog trainer and especially a partner. She's extremely supportive too. She is there for me. She's there for her clients. She's really happy to provide support. It's not just a marketing thing. It's Laura truly wants to help people and help their dogs and help change viewpoints to handling and having more of a relationship with your dog versus it kind of being this like owner animal dynamic. She's really trying to provide trust and support and making a bond.
That's awesome. That's really, really good to have in a dog trainer. You know, it's not just about the dogs, it's everybody else's lives that are affected by the dog's behavior too. So
Absolutely.
Well, thank you. Jeez.
Oh, you're welcome.
awesome.
All right, so we've done the lovey-dovey thing. What happens when you guys have a conflict? Do you have conflicts? What kind of resolutions do you work through to solve any of the conflicts and disagreements?
I don't think we've ever had a conflict.
Wow.
The only thing I remember us having a bad moment was when I took when Sue Sternberg was here that one weekend, and I got I love Sue Sternberg, but she makes you like really jaded, right? At times, and she's like, and she says that she'll be like, "You're gonna listen to me talk, and you're gonna just have the worst time this weekend because anyway."
Oh my goodness.
So we were at a dog park, an off-leash area up in the mountains, and Courtney has a coonhound.
Oh no.
It was really good. I mean, she's great for a coonhound. But she got away from you, and we were trying to find her, or whatever. And I remember saying something snarky. I don't even really remember what it was, but I said something so snarky. And you were like, remember, even before we got there, you were like, "What's wrong with you?" Because I just got a little more dark. Oh my gosh, I totally remember.
Oh my goodness.
I must have blocked it out.
I said something really snarky, and I don't know what it was, but I could tell that that it hurt you. And I felt really bad, and then I was like, look, I was a real jerk. So, but yeah, that was the only time I can remember where we've had like, a not so nice feeling.
I totally blocked it out, so all my feelings are nice.
I think the only thing is, we're dealing so much with people who have really bad problems with their dogs or really big issues. So a lot of times we have to talk to each other to kind of get past it ourselves. Like sometimes things don't work out very well. People don't want to put in the work, or they want to rush things or whatever it is. And it's funny because I feel like Courtney has ones that affect her more, and I have ones that affect me more.
Yeah.
Or like I apologized to her recently because we took on a client. I don't know why I even said that to her. She was so mean. Like she was talking about her new boyfriend's ex-wife who had died. Like she's dead. Like she was just so
oh my goodness
insensitive on the phone. And I was like, this lady is kind of crazy and kind of makes me feel yucky. And I took her anyway, and I felt really bad because I have a Chihuahua, and they have this Chihuahua, and the Chihuahua reminds me of my Chihuahua, and then she canceled on us, right? And anyway, the point is, I felt so bad about that because I was thinking about this poor little guy, and then I felt bad for Courtney because I remember us talking about, gosh, that lady is like, and I was texting her like, I'm really sorry I subjected us to this person.
Oh
no. So I think sometimes, we're facing so much stuff like that we don't even have time. It's not a problem between the two of us.
Yeah, it's nice to have somebody else to talk to about these things.
Yeah. I mean, these can be really hard things, and I think I wanted to give a shout out to Barry Finger and Lisa Nags here because Barry saved my life anyway, but they work together too, and their relationship and how they were doing those kinds of things, really, I felt envious of that. So when I met Courtney and we started developing this, I thought frequently about them, and I thought to myself, like, I wish we could have. I think things hold us back because we all have to make money, and not everybody wants to pay a lot of money for dog training anyway.
Right. But
I think it's really great if you're going to work with more severe kinds of things to have a partner. And I think that's a really great, I don't know. I would like to see more people working together in that way. I feel like sometimes trainers can be a little bit like, I'm in my own little bubble.
Right.
And I really would like to see more people working with each other and really trying to raise the level of service that we can provide, especially with positive trainers, because I think that's our advantage. And I think we do care. And I think, we have a lot of heart invested in what we do. And I think if people who are, people who are genuinely looking for real help, they'll find us, as cliche as that sounds. But I do believe it, and I'm thankful that people find me. I could do a better job of marketing us, but I'm just really grateful to have Courtney. I think we have something very special.
I think so too. Do you think it sounds like you guys are pretty opposite, just kind of in personalities and in skill set? Do you think that helps at all with your partnership?
Absolutely. I think it helps us deal with more clients as well. Because I think when you meet a client, there's some clients you totally mesh with, and there's other clients where you're struggling to find some connection and how to help them. And I think our differences really make us more adaptable to more situations.
That makes sense.
Yeah, even dogs, I'm really into hunting dogs. I don't hunt, but I have a coonhound and I have a Brittany, and I really like that breed, that group of dogs. And Laura really likes herders, and I just think our experiences also help make us more well-rounded.
For sure. Awesome.
So final thoughts, since you think that doing partnership is so great, how do you go out and find a great dog training partner? What's your recommendation?
I think you have to be friends. Because Laura's no, truly, like, I've seen a lot of business partners who that's their only connection is that work and that business. But I think Laura and I, as much as we are business partners, we're really, really close friends. And we carve time out for that as well.
Nice. But at the same time, I mean, there's a lot of people that go into business, dog trainers or not, as friends first. And then a lot goes wrong. So.
Yeah, I think that happens too. I think the best thing that any trainer can do, regardless of whether they're looking for a partner or not, or working with others, is really to make time to get to know people. And I try to encourage that. I have my own little trainer group here that I try to do meetup times, and it's really great because it's like, okay, let's go to a bar or restaurant, we'll hang out,
and just talk dog.
Because you can, and I stalk a lot of, KPA trainers, especially because I'm obsessed with clicker trainers on Facebook. And that's great, but you don't know people unless you really hang out with them.
Absolutely.
I think it's really important, especially even if you just want to refer. I mean, most of the people I refer to, I have met most of them, and I know exactly what they're like, and I really trust them. And I think that we let our work get in the way of that stuff. I do too. There are times when I just would rather stay home. But I feel like unless you're really getting out and talking with people and interacting with them in person, you're not going to find that kind of partnership or those kinds of opportunities. And I think it makes our community stronger. I mean, I think there's a lot of divisiveness in dog training in general, and the best thing we can do is really get to know each other and not make silly judgments based on somebody's YouTube video or whatever.
Right.
You really need to get to know people, and there's some people who, I think they are worried about judgment from other trainers, right? We can be very
critical.
Yeah, we can be critical. And I'm not saying I'm not either, but I really want to keep an open mind, because I know I don't do everything perfectly. And I know people made judgments about me for having gone to animal behavior college. Like, oh, that chick doesn't know what she's doing. She's, and that sucks. I'm like, I did the best I could knowing what I knew at the time.
Right.
And that program worked for me. And I moved on. So I feel like, we really need to have more open minds and really get to have times where we have in-person time to get to know each other.
Awesome.
And then you'll make your connections. So
Absolutely. That's a great tip.
oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
So I want to share a catastrophe because I'd like you to explain why people should back up their YouTube videos.
Oh, no.
Oh yes, back up the YouTube videos. So yes, I moved. I used to live in South Denver, right by Courtney, and then the most horrible thing I did was move further away from Courtney to Lakewood. So I have a much larger house in Lakewood, and I was updating things right on online about my business as a result of the move, and I realized I had 2 Google listings, and I decided to delete one, and I didn't realize that the one I deleted was connected to my YouTube, and all my YouTube videos were
Oh,
gone.
no.
So 5 years of work gone.
Oh, man.
Not that I had the world's most wonderful YouTube videos, but what little I had, I used for clients, whatever. So yeah, lesson learned. I'm going to be buying an external drive. I have all my raw footage for the most part because I do have a Dropbox and I have thousands and thousands of hours of video that I could, edit from at any point, but I'm so slow at it and it's not my forte.
Right.
But it's really important to save your edits and save them maybe in 2 or 3 places, because if you accidentally click the wrong button and you're not aware of all the stupid, like, oh, we're all feeding into each other because we're this huge corporate conglomerate now, you'll be screwed like me, because I used to be savvier about technology and I'm getting old and tired, and yeah, you don't want to lose that work. So get external drives, get a Dropbox, save it in all those places so you have multiple copies.
That's
so you
a
don't
good,
end up like me.
yeah, that's a good tip.
But what was really shocking is, and I think everybody that commented on all of your posts on Facebook were like, I can't believe that the videos just don't exist somewhere hidden in the background. And you actually talked to someone at YouTube who basically said,
yeah, when you hit
gone.
delete, they're not allowed to keep it. They
Oh,
have
wow.
to delete it.
oh,
When
Wow.
you say delete and you're like, yes, delete, they will get rid of it. I don't know.
Oh, no.
and I, guess
I
that
even
makes
have,
sense.
well, and
Just
I
for
have,
security.
I have a friend that works for Yahoo who knows people who work for Google, and he even tried to see if, I tried every avenue I could, and there's a part of me that I was very, very upset, and I still can be if I let myself linger on it, but I'm like, the older I get, I'm like, I just need to let things go, because otherwise I'm one of those people, and this is why I like working with crazy dogs, because I'm crazy. I know. I know exactly how to make myself anxious and insane. I've practiced it for many years, but yeah, one of my Facebook friends who's a Buddhist was like, the new videos will be better, and I'm like, you're right, they'll
Aw.
be better, and I'll just make some better ones. And in the meantime, I've told clients, if you click on something and it's not there, just let me know. I'll point you somewhere else or whatever.
Right.
But yeah, I'm gonna have to clean up my website. There's a lot of blogs and things that
Oh, man. Yeah.
are just useless now. But
Aw.
oh well, it is what it is.
That happens.
The joys of self-employment, being everything.
Yes.
Yes. Anyway, so I'm all done with my questions. I think.
Oh, awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
Of course.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here among some kick-ass people.
Do you love the podcast? Looking for more to grow your dog training business? Check out our website at themoderndogtrainer.net to learn more from our blog, join our Facebook group, or take a course. Ross Malcolm Boyd edits the program, but he does a lot more than that. Visit rossmalcolmboyd.com for rainbow unicorns, online music lessons, and more.
Thank you for listening to the Modern Dog Trainer podcast. Don't forget, you can check out the show notes at themoderndogtrainer.net/podcast. You can also share your thoughts and support our podcast by leaving a review on iTunes. Until next time.